just believe in the power of healing and restoration. And I know that if we can just come together and speak about the hard things, we can finally begin to heal. So, this is where we heal. Welcome to another episode of This Is Where We Heal. Today I have Kelly Siegel.
Fail forward, baby. Fail forward.
Today I have the special guest named Kelly Siegel. Kelly is the author of Harder Than Life and the CEO of his company called Harder Than Life. Kelly is a super driven, successful man, but he is also very, very versed in the topics of self-awareness and choosing yourself. So without further ado, Kelly, welcome to the show today.
It's an honor to be here, number one, and I love how things always come together. We just recently were introduced. I had a wedding in St. Louis, and here we are in person. We were going to do a remote show, and yet it came together. We had a beautiful conversation beforehand, and I'm looking forward to sharing all the love and wisdom and poor decisions I've made over the years so people can avoid what the hardship, the harder than life, and live happier than life through my mistakes.
Oh, I love that. See, I think that's the whole point, right? To live and learn and grow and then show those who are just a step behind you how to do it in an easier way than you had to.
What do they say? You either win or you learn.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, not everybody learns.
Yeah. Oof.
And it took me many years. And the funny thing about God, universe, source, they will keep hitting you over the head until you get it. And when you don't get it, that's when that inevitable rock bottom. And I'm here to try to keep people from doing that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hit it. I was close.
Yeah.
But those stories are sad.
They are sad, but they are transformative too, which I love. But you know what I think? I think in your own way, you did have your own rock bottom. It just, maybe it wasn't the same as someone else's, but I want to talk about that because in your book, you talk about your childhood and what led you to where you are. So obviously you're super successful. You have two businesses, correct? Mm-hmm. And you have a podcast, you have a book, you've done so many things, and yet you're still very grounded. And I know that there's got to be a backstory to that. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited to have you on today, because I have a lot of women that listen to this show, but I have a lot of men too. I have a surprising amount of men who listen to this show. And so two of the things that are really important for me is one, for women to see great examples of masculine men that are also gentlemen, right? That also are versed in relationships and connection and know the difference in masculine and feminine and how to merge and do those things in a healthy way. But I also want the men who are watching to also see the example for themselves of the things that they can achieve and the things that they can do and the ways that they can learn and grow and show up and still be vulnerable to life and not, so stuck in their ego that they can't have good relationships. So thank you for being here because I think you're a great example of both of those things.
Well, I receive all that. It's, part of healing is being able to receive at the level that you can give. I want to start. This is where we're going to start healing. I want to start off with where you just talked about success. You said, I'm a successful man. So the first thing people think of, he makes a lot of money. And success is not I don't define success that way. And I want to start off right off the bat. Success to me is being able to look in the mirror and loving who I am and having a peaceful heart and being peaceful, having freedom, and having clarity of where I'm going to go, where I'm headed. That to me, peace, clarity, and freedom is success. If I didn't make another dollar, I would trade everything that I have for that peace, clarity, and freedom that I have now. And freedom isn't just be able to move about the world and come into St. Louis and see amazing people and go to amazing things. It's a freedom in my mind to understand that I am safe, I am okay, and I'm loved and I'm lovable. And that really, my definition of fear is false evidence appearing real, because that's literally what it is. It's all the terrible childhood that I grew up with replaying itself, going, hey, we've seen this before, and it's wrong.
Wow.
And if you can just take that sacred pause and realize, is this true? More often times than not, it's not. So please understand that the definition of success is not finance.
Yeah.
Because yes, I'm good financially, but don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the more successful I get, the more I pare down things. I'm in the process of purging all kinds of things that I don't use.
Yeah.
So that means nothing. And that's a real sign that there's an issue if you're constantly accumulating stuff. So success is in my mind and loving the person in the mirror. Because that's how this all started. I look in the mirror. I was a heavy partier. Everybody loved me. I'd see blotchy skin. And I used to say to myself, this isn't you, Kelly. This isn't who you are. And I wish that when I started doing that I would have stopped and started working on myself sooner. Mm-hmm. But it was years and years and years later where I just kept paying attention and going, something's wrong here. Mm. And I decided to make massive change. And it started with one change, and it was just to take a break from alcohol.
Wow.
And when I took that break from alcohol, I realized that it wasn't about the alcohol. There was deep down insecurities and fears, and alcohol was the crutch that I would use to not have to deal with myself. Mm-hmm. So if you've followed me for any time, I talk about the 3 S's: stillness, silence, and solitude.
Yeah. So
I spent a lot of time during the pandemic in stillness, silence, and solitude, getting to know myself without alcohol. And turns out I like myself a lot. Aww. I really, really enjoy my company now. And I can create the life. I have created the life, and I get the fun that alcohol promised me that never delivered.
Ooh.
And it's beautiful. Man. So we all tend to go to these crutches, whether it be alcohol, whether it be cannabis, whether it be scrolling. It could be Netflix. It could be it could be serial relationship. Oh my goodness. So I'm sure we're gonna get into the relationships. But I gotta tell you, I stand in front of you a very, very happy man. Yeah. And it went straight through the darkness. Mm-hmm. I always tease I'm the buffalo. I go right into the storm, because if you go right into it, the storm comes and actually you spend less time in the perils of the storm if you just go straight into it instead of running from it.
That's so true. I always tell my clients whenever I'm working with someone that they're struggling to get over something. I'm like, how long have you sat in this? How long have you sat in the pain? Like, you have to let it hurt for a while, because if you don't let it hurt, it's going to come out of you some way or another. It's going to come out eventually, or you're just going to find something else to take its place and numb it away. And that could be another relationship with someone that you're not compatible with, that you don't even know yourself. So, yeah, I love that.
I find it funny that you said struggle, though. We default to struggle. It doesn't need to be a struggle.
Yeah, right. It doesn't need to be.
We've labeled it that it's a struggle. There's going to be sacrifice.
Yeah.
Definitely. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a struggle. And we don't have to label it something here. I'm really watching the words that I use as well as everybody else. Yeah. And it's amazing how we reaffirm our beliefs through our words. So it doesn't, it sure felt like a struggle at the time, but it wasn't. Yeah. If I could fast forward to now and look back and go, these are the steps that you have to do, I would look back and go, oh, that was training.
Yeah.
This wasn't a struggle.
Yeah.
That was the work I had to do to become the man that I am today, to attract the life and the partner that I have today.
It's so true. Yeah. Are you struggling, or are you?
There you go.
And that's, but it's so true though. Like, I love, honestly, I am grateful for the rock bottom that I had. Like, I am so grateful. It changed me. It was the first time in my life, because my addiction was relationships, not just relationships, toxic relationships, right? I was constantly seeking validation from people who didn't even know how to validate themselves, right? And so I was always left empty, always left disappointed, always left hurt, right? Because I didn't feel those things that I needed to feel for me already, right? But yeah, I think that we all have that point in our lives where you get 2 choices. You stand at a path and you ask yourself, okay, which path am I going to take now? Because whatever I've done up to this point has not worked. I'm not healthy. I'm not happy. I'm not whole. I'm not peaceful. I'm not clear, right? And you have to make the choice. Like, which path am I taking now? Am I going to?
Well, you're skipping a step. You have to, you must be self-aware to be honest and be honest with yourself. A lot of people, and I did it. Boy, did I do this. I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've ever been while I'm drinking and partying, because I was the life of the party. You have to look in the mirror and be honest and literally Because then you hit that pivot
Yeah.
and you go, okay, because a lot of people just lie to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing in the world. What is the old, I'm going to date myself now. What is it? It's Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. He says, Rodney Dangerfield looks at his son. He's like, son, you don't lie to me. You lie to girls. But you don't lie to yourself. You know, they say you don't lie to your lawyer. You don't lie to your doctor. You don't lie to yourself.
That's good.
It's just not worth it. So look in the mirror and say, are you in alignment with the person that you want to be? Oof. Then you do your freaking, okay, oof. What do I have to do to change? That is the scariest time. But I assure you, if you do that, you will live the life of your dreams. And that's literally that's the hardest part of Harder Than Life. And then my new book's coming out soon. It's Happier Than Life. Oof. And you get there. So it's emotional intelligence, looking in the mirror and realizing, nobody's coming to save you.
Yes.
You're here. And I want to say this, Ashley. Everybody says we only live once, and they got it wrong. We only die once.
Oh,
we live
good.
every freaking day. And some of us are living a hell. If you're living a hell and you're looking in the mirror and you know it, you can change. Reach out to me. Reach out to you. The beauty part about this world is there's so much content available that's free.
Yeah.
Of course, I just met your coach. We hire a coach, work with a therapist. There's so many free resources, but man, it is so you not only got to want it, you just got to want a better life. Yeah. And then you got to look in there and do the work. Everything works if you work it.
That's so true.
But a lot of people want that elevator, that secret pill, that secret shot. And I get it all the time. Oh, you take steroids, you take tren. It's like, dude, I've looked like this for 30 years. And the secret is this body was my protector. Yeah. My stepfather was big, 6'2", 265, oof. And he used to wail on me. So I built a body so I could protect myself. Now it's a door opener for me. So everything that you think is just crushing you eventually will come back to be for you. And everything I look back happened for me, not to me.
Yeah, that's right.
My parents made me a tough son of a gun. You'll never see me scared. You'll never see me intimidated. I walk into rooms and you can feel my energy. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, because the first thing I used to walk in is look for the bar. Yeah. Now I walk in, I want to meet everybody.
Yeah, you can tell that. Even just when you were outside of the room, we were like, he's just so friendly. He's such a great communicator. And she was like, yeah, he really is. I mean, you can feel that in people when it's authentic.
What happened at the restaurant? Did you see that the bus lady comes, I love you. And I'm like, you look at me and go, does that happen often? I go, yes, it does.
I was like, that was nice.
That means I'm good. That means the energy that I'm emitting
you can't
is
fake
right.
It.
You know what? I don't know how to fake it. I can't, there used to be fake it till you make it, but I'm just me. I get that all the time. I am the authentic me. I am messy. I am not a complete product. Yeah. I am continuously working on myself, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to be in the arena every single day. I owe that to my daughter. And that's the big thing. My daughter's my everything. She's 16 years old and I've overcorrected. She's not going to deal with the life that I've done. I made it a little too soft for her. She's going to write the book Softer Than Life, but no, she's kind and beautiful and she's loved. She's going to have to figure out the adversity stuff. What do they say? Adversity's here. It just left or it's on its way. She has yet to see any adversity.
Yeah, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's probably the easier stuff to teach.
And if she picks the right partner in life, at some point, then they'll embrace that too.
Love it.
So I want to go back to then, because obviously you're very self-aware now. You're very controlled now. You obviously are very healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, but you weren't that. You struggled with addiction and alcoholism.
Feels good, by the way. I'm going to say that. You can't say that enough. I was driving to the airport yesterday, crying. Aww. Because I'm so grateful for where I am. And it's no joke. I'm getting choked up right now. And I interrupted you and I'm sorry because I want people to see that it feels good to heal.
It does.
It really does. And I can't, I'm working on right now feeling it. I asked ChatGPT the other day, I said, based on what you know about me, what do I need to start doing? It says, start receiving at the effort that you give. Oh. So I wanted to fully take the time to feel that. It landed right on my heart. And because I want to pay this forward. So thank you for saying that.
Of course. I mean, it's true. And I that's why I'm very particular about the men that I have on my show, especially because for me, it's very important that you could feel safety in a man's presence. And so if you don't, like, that's not the kind of people I want, on this show, because that's so important for women.
What do you think that the safety is?
I think it's honestly, it's an intuitive thing. It's a presence thing for me personally. But I think that the safer a man feels in himself, mentally, emotionally, physically even, I think those all three play a role. You feel that. You feel it. You sense it as a woman. That's what I think. Because the safest men that I've come in contact with they've dived deep within themselves. They've allowed themselves to feel the things that they need to feel while also developing themselves in all the other ways, right? They're not afraid to connect. They're not afraid to be open. They're not afraid to be vulnerable. And I think there's even though vulnerability is sometimes seen as like a feminine trait, I think that when a masculine man can embrace that, it actually makes them even more masculine, right?
Well, it's equanimity between the masculine and feminine. It's creating a safe place. I just told you I was crying.
Yeah,
on the way to
exactly.
school.
Exactly.
And there were years where I couldn't cry.
Yeah.
Because growing up, my parents were alcoholics. They were never around. It was survival of the fittest. So if I cried, there was nobody to cry to. So I never cried. I didn't cry now I cry almost daily. No, it's good cries.
Right. No, exactly.
They're out of gratitude. It's like, I can't believe this is the life I live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 100% cultivated by me. I did the work. So, it's creating a safe place because you're safe. Mm-hmm. And it's equal parts feminine and masculine. And some of the feminists just shut the heck up. Gentlemen, if you're listening, leave your best advice. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We don't need to solve all women's problems. Just listen.
Yeah.
That's the number one advice I get. And it took me forever. I am a doer. Yeah. I am a problem solver. And my significant other gives me a problem, I'm solving, and they don't need that.
Yeah.
You just want to know that that they care and they're listening. And I told you my girlfriend is an investor in real estate. There's always issues.
Yeah.
Because I wish they would teach emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
In school.
I know.
Because so many people are triggered and then they lash out and they don't know how to communicate, or they're treating people the opposite of the way that they want to be treated. And we're better than this, people. Mm-hmm. That's where the Heart of Life movement's about. It's about together we rise, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah. Let's
do this thing together. And you know what? I don't care if you're on the left side or the right side. We need both sides to stabilize. So to me, it's grow together and just, it's okay to look and say, Ash, I feel a little scared right now. I literally, if you you saw my text message this morning where she said, I feel my nervous system is calm with you. And this comes from last week of me saying to her, why am I grinding so hard? And she said, it's because all you've ever known. It's all you've ever known. It's your survival skill. And I said, I don't want to be like this. And that was me admitting a vulnerability.
Yeah.
And she said, and I said, she said, what can I do? There is a good, and I said, just point out when I'm pushing too hard. I don't need you to give a safe spot for me. Just point it out, because I'm sometimes not aware of that because I'm so into it. Yeah. There's an old story about an 18-wheeler truck goes under a bridge and gets stuck. And everybody's looking, they don't know how to fix it. A little 9-year-old looks and says, let the air out of the tires. Everybody else was so into it, they didn't realize. Let the air on the tires, pull the truck out, no problem. So sometimes you're just a little too close, a little too into it. So you gave me all that superlatives and I'm self-aware. Sometimes I'm still a little bit. That is the hardest one for me, is
that's
the
self-awareness
illusion
right
of control. Tell me I can't do something and I'll do it twice. Impossible only describes a degree of difficulty.
I love that, actually. Wish I had a little more of that in myself. But no.
I'll give you some of mine and I'll still have plenty.
Please. Give it all. I'll take it. Oh. No, but here's the thing. I think that men really struggle with all of that. They struggle to admit that they're areas of weakness. Well,
you went there again. You said struggle. I think that they're not aware. It's not, you have to have more podcasts like like mine and me and people. There's a lot of us out there talking about it, but it's still such a minority. They're not even, I would call ignorant of it. Ignorant that this is actually the way to bring it together. And we're not struggling with it. They're not even knowing that, hey, being vulnerable and getting into your feminine and listening and just being, we're human beings. We're not human doings.
Yeah.
So just remember, use that word struggle again. And it's not a struggle when you don't even know it exists.
That's so true. Oof. Man, that like really just opened up my mind for sure. Wow. So
We always start with it's so hard. Is it? It's not hard. It's just, you've never done it before.
yeah.
It's foreign.
Yeah.
So we got to reframe this stuff. Of course, the first time you rode a bike, it was hard. Never done it before.
Yeah.
So let's give each other and ourselves grace. That's the hardest. That's hard for me. Give yourself grace. I'm perfectly imperfect.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we all are.
Well, there was a lot of times where I tried to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because if I was just perfect, then maybe my stepdad wouldn't beat on me. Maybe, just maybe, my mom would acknowledge my existence and tell me once that she loved me. So, but they did the best they could with the tools that they had. And the moment that I forgave, I was able to experience way more love, attract more people like you in my life, and experience that freedom that we talked about at the beginning.
What do you think it was? What was the turning point for you in your life where you think that you went from, do you feel like you were ignorant? Like, do you feel like you were unaware? And
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in very, very poor. I went to high school with Eminem for a year. We went to the movie 8 Mile was much like how we grew up. It was abusive, abandonment, drugs, alcohol, betrayal. It was insane. It was survival. Literally. So mine was, I told you a little bit about before at the restaurant, mine was just like attracts like, and I just would literally attract all the wrong women. And I was the common denominator. And I just kept going, why won't somebody love me the way that I love? And that doesn't happen, which you talk about all the time, until you love yourself. And that's by putting the standards and the boundaries and saying no to everything that you don't want. And it's an emphatic no, not a maybe. I'm bored on this Saturday night, so I'm going to go out with this freaking dust muffin or this freaking dork. And because I'm bored and I need something to do. That's saying that you don't really have boundaries and you don't have standards. And really, boundaries are a real cool thing to say. Oh, a boundary up or respect me or be replaced. I think people don't realize that boundaries are really just your standards.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't rise to our goals. We fall to our standards. And if you don't like what you're attracting, you just look in the mirror. There's one finger pointing away and there's 3 pointing right back at you. So I kept, going out to the bars and meeting the wrong women, going to the wrong places. So when I quit the alcohol, I realized, it is me. It is me. And then I got a newsflash for you. It's always you.
That was me too.
And once I changed that, everything changed.
Yeah.
And then you can't unsee what's capable of life.
That's so
we have this comparison theory, and we have to go in and we see social media and everybody puts their highlight reels and it's FOMO. Man, I don't feel any of that.
That's so
the level of peace. I was out the other day and somebody said, hey, just heard a story about you. Or somebody was just talking about you. You want to know what it is? Nope. They're like, serious? Nope. None of my business what anybody thinks or says about me. Don't care. And that's how I keep my peace. Doesn't matter. I put it all out there. Every single day I put up stories. It's to educate, inspire, motivate, and model.
Yeah.
There's no secrets in my life. I don't have anything that I'm ashamed of.
And whoever wants to take it can take it, and whoever doesn't have to.
The people that hate on me are undercover freaking fans.
Yeah.
I'm going to convert one at a time.
Yeah.
You can sit here and yell at me about taking steroids. Simple fact of the matter is, this is 2 workouts. I'm in the middle of doing 500 workouts this year. I did exercise. I did workout 215. Didn't think that one through, by the way. I did not think that through. I work out just about every day. So about 360 days a year.
Oof.
So I figured, what's another 140 workouts? It's a lot.
That sounds like a lot to me.
But I'm going to be 50 this year. So I wanted to be nifty at 50 in the best shape of my life. And I'm 215 workouts in, and I'm in the best shape of my life, both mentally and physically. So I help people in my coaching program be mentally fit and get physical mastery. And then we then go to their businesses and help them be better leaders and better business people.
Dive into that. Why do you think that transforms mentally? Like, what do you think it is about the physical portion of it that transforms the mind?
Oh, that's an easy question. I say this a lot, and I forgot that this is you look good, you feel good, and you do good. And we've always had it backwards. If I am successful, I'll be significant, and I'll be important, and I'll earn love. Well, how about if I just be physically fit and love myself? I'll end up attracting everything.
That's so
and
true.
The physical fitness is the foundation of everything because it's hard.
Yeah.
That truly is hard.
Yeah.
Being in shape, especially nowadays with Ozempic and all the in steroids and peptides and everything. It's just easy to say, nah, I'm going to sit here on my beanbag eating Cheetos, watching Netflix.
Which I do occasionally, but
hey, I eat pizza, man. I eat garbage. I am a candy junkie. I was eyeing the carrot cake at the bakery we were at. I might go back there and get some. So, it's exactly that. It is literally the balance of all that stuff. So it's hard. The physical fitness is really the first form of adversity. So when I walk in a room, if me and Zach here walk in a room and we make promises, who do you think by just looking is gonna keep their promise? They're gonna look at me and say, he's obviously kept his promise to himself. And that's no knock on you, Zach. I think you're a great guy. But actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you. And as a matter of fact, I just was doing a speaking training and I was talking and the guy goes, hey, you don't need to tell people you're serious. We can see it. It's like, oh.
Presence says a lot.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And funny thing about it, again, this was just my armor to protect myself, and now it works for me. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, parents, for making me feel unsafe and making me build this, because now it's a conversation starter. So the physical fitness is the first hard thing that we have 100% control over.
Right.
And then the mental fitness. And then comes the business. But all too often, we'll see guys kill themselves to be successful, and then they think they're significant and they're still chasing for something. But if they flip that around, they get physically fit and mentally fit, they're going to make more money. So what do I say all the time? Money doesn't make you happy, but happiness will make you money.
Ooh, that's good.
Boom.
Ooh, I need a second to sit with that. Wow. No,
it's
but
true.
You're so right.
You sit back.
Because you glow differently when you're happy. Like you give off a different energy when you're happy, and like it just opens doors.
It's abundance. It's love and abundance.
Yeah, people
positive.
They're drawn to you, and they are interested in what you have to say because you look different. You seem different. Your energy's different, and that's so true.
Your peace.
Yeah.
Versus the opposite, which is fear and lack.
Yeah.
And that's a negative, and you're pulling away, and people can smell that.
Yeah, they really can.
And being a consummate sales professional, because that's really what I am. I own a cybersecurity company. We are doing some wild things in cybersecurity with AI, but I'm a sales guy at heart. I love helping people because again, that's that little boy that just wants love. So if I help you, you'll love me. But now I do it out of just because there's got to be somebody that leads the pack, and that'll be me.
Yeah. Let's go into relationships. So what I like to, in your book, you talk about, your first chapter is about self-awareness, but you also talk about communication. And I know it's not necessarily just pertaining to like romantic relationships, but how did you get to a place in your life that you learn the importance of these things? Because I do think, like, going back to what you said with ignorance, a lot of people go into relationships ignorant too. Like one, not knowing what they want, not knowing what they need, not knowing what the standards are that they have for themselves. So therefore they're naturally going to have for other people, right? But when you get into those relationships, it's the understanding of how important communication is and how self-awareness plays a role and integrity does play a role. And you talk about all these things in your book. So pertaining to relationships, let's dive into that.
You want to talk about romantic relationships?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
because you've talked about abandoning yourselves and romantic relationships too.
there were so many avenues that I'm going to go down, but I'm going to grab one for just a second and talk about communication, period.
Okay.
This communication fascinates me. We tend to over-communicate in things that aren't as important and under-communicate the things that are very important. So if something is a standard and a boundary and a non-negotiable. So the number one thing that I have a list of non-negotiables. Like I couldn't in a romantic relationship, I couldn't be with someone who drinks.
Yeah.
Now, my girlfriend will have one glass of wine. When I mean drinks has to numb because I'm going to pass that person by because I don't need to numb anything. I need to be with somebody who is physically fit. So I made a list.
I did too.
Of what, and
It changed the game for me.
I read it every day.
Yeah.
And what do you know? I was actually going to look for it the other day and I'm going to find it. And I have it somewhere in my journals. And if anybody came into my life that was one of the non-negotiables wasn't chicken, and that wasn't, got to be successful or got to have 6 figures, 6-pack and 6 foot tall.
Right.
That's not it. These were all qualities.
Yes.
And traits and habits. And anytime I'd meet somebody, if one of those things, it was just a no. And I was signaling the universe, hey, please don't send me these. Send me these. And the unfortunate part about once you start healing, your dating pool becomes very small.
It does.
Because I got to tell you, I've dated a lot of people, good looking, successful, gregarious, went out, did everything. That dating pool is huge.
Right.
That chaos, unhealed is huge. Just go to any bar. Like now you go to any freaking app and then you can just throw a rock and hit 10 of them. But when you heal, it's small because those people are out working on themselves too.
Yeah,
they're
are.
not on dating apps.
Yeah, they're
not at bars.
Exactly.
But that's another thing too, guys. So Kelly, Ashley, where do I meet somebody? The gym in the morning, coffee shops, bookstores. There still are bookstores,
Places
people.
you actually like to go.
The places that fill you up, that traditionally you'd say were boring.
Yeah. I actually stopped looking entirely.
That's actually a really good thing.
And I not even intentionally, because the people are like, stop looking in your personal. I wasn't even about that. I got so focused on what I needed to build for myself that I just wasn't looking.
Wait a minute, you went there. I hear that all the time. I'm busy working on me.
But it wasn't like I'm working on myself, right? And it wasn't that. It was
make
that
sure you are working on the people that are listening to this. I know you have a big females. Actually work on yourself.
Yeah.
Do the daily journaling. My next book is about this, is my daily habits, journaling, listening to podcasts, daily meditations. I do this every single day.
Yes.
And just getting in touch with yourself.
Yes.
Working out. Guys, it's important for women too.
Yeah.
Like if you want to meet a guy who's in shape, you better be in shape.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, I'm not interested.
Well, and for me, it's not even so much about the physical aspect of someone being in shape. It's the mentality.
Yes.
It's I know they're disciplined if they're working out. That matters to me. I feel like that's part of masculinity. Like order and discipline is really important,
Yes.
As a woman, I want someone that I trust to lead me and my family, right? Lead our family. And discipline is a huge part of that. So it's like the mentality of having that structure every day, I think is just really important,
Yeah.
And of course, the effect is they also look nice.
So we went down the thing. I wanted to go back to the communication because I recently read this book, Why Are Difficult or the Difficult Conversations Don't Have to Be Difficult. They don't.
Ooh.
They don't. We label them difficult. So we go in and we're like, oh, I got to have a sit down and talk to my significant other about, we had one recently about my girlfriend likes to watch TV in bed. I don't.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't a difficult conversation. It was just hey, we have to come up. I'd like to come up with a compromise. My subconscious listens to the TV as I'm trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is number one priority. I'm 50 or I'll be 50. I gotta sleep.
Yeah. Exactly.
I need to recharge. If you watch me at all, I go 1,000 miles an hour all the time, and I gotta recharge. So it was a non-negotiable, and it caused a little bit of a rift. But I was comfortable saying this is where I have to have 7 hours of sleep. It's non-negotiable for me. If you want me to show up for you, this is what I need.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to say, if this doesn't work, I can go be by myself, and I'm okay with that. So difficult conversations don't have to be difficult. And also, don't assume that they know.
Yeah, that's good.
We assume so much. And here's the funny thing about every piece of advice that I give you for relationships also works in business. So it's any relationship. If you have a boss that's crossing boundaries or treating you like crap, go have the difficult conversation with the label difficult. It's only difficult because, again, you're not used to having them. And most people don't know how to.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
They're afraid.
Go do it. Anyways.
They're afraid. We talked about this earlier. Just like my relationships dramatically changed when I stopped being afraid of how people were going to respond to the way that I felt and the things that I felt I needed to say.
What did you just say? So we'll take that a step further. What are they really afraid of?
Right. I was afraid of rejection.
You're afraid of not what they were going to do. Your feeling of the rejection.
Of their feeling.
So understand that. Once you flip that around and realize that, you're not worried about them.
Yeah.
You're really worried about you. How am I going to deal with the rejection?
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
And then go deal with rejection.
Yeah.
So go out. I'm one of those crazy guys as soon as I identify it, so what I would tell my people to do? Go out and meet a bunch of people. Go out and say hi. I want you to go out today and introduce yourself to a bunch of people. People are going to reject you and realize you ain't going to die.
Yeah. And life still goes on and you're still fine.
It's okay. And then you're going to meet someone and you're like, dude, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Look all the people I just met at this studios. Yeah. Like, you're awesome. Somebody could have been having a bad day and like, I'm a big 4 Agreements, the book 4 Agreements, guys. Don't take anything personal and don't make assumptions. So I just keep repeating that over and over and over again. But guys, it's all about you. You were worried about how you're going to feel.
Yeah. Can I handle the rejection if they
don't respond well? You can.
And yes, I could. And that was the thing. I could. I just didn't know I could.
It's all about you. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
It's always about us.
Oh, that's so good.
Other people, they're not responsible for your triggers. You're responsible.
And you're not responsible for theirs.
Radical ownership.
That's
But you got to know that they're available. That's where the self-awareness. And if you don't know, just break out your trusty old notebook and just write notes. And I start starring feelings, and you'll see correlations.
Ooh, that's
It is
good.
the simplest and easiest thing. I start to do that on a positive note too. When I start having when I have those gratitude, I'm going to make one. I just think of a gratitude attack. I had a gratitude attack yesterday. And I went back and I wrote down everything how I started my day. And you know what I started my day yesterday? Totally different than I normally start my day, which was I didn't wake up at 4:00 in the morning. I didn't go to the gym right away. I did everything, but I did it on God's time. And what do you know? I created space and calm to feel overwhelming gratitude to the point where I'm driving to the airport in Detroit. I'm literally crying so heavily that the car next to me was looking at me and I'm just giggling. I didn't care. It felt so good. Like, here I do. 10 years ago,
shift.
I would have done anything to be this person I am today. And now I get to live the rest of my life this way. Yeah. So I implore everybody that's listening, start working on yourself today and live your lives.
Yeah. It's
scary. We talked about some of the women, and one of the things that upset me the most is women settling. If you're with a boob of a man, break up with him.
Yeah.
He'll know you're serious. And then give him the opportunity to grow with you. If he doesn't want to, let him go to the next girl and you grow and then attract someone who's better. You become a whole person. They become a whole person. You come together and you co-create big.
Amen.
No more settling. No more freaking. I hate it. It saddens me to see a woman with someone who's just beneath them in all aspects and treats them worse on top of it. That is why I did this. I want to make sure my daughter loves herself enough that she'll never allow anybody to treat her less than.
Amen.
And you see it every day. And some of you guys are going to trigger you like, well, it's easier said than done. I got 3 kids. And he's the breadwinner. I get it. Nobody said it was going to be easy. You know, it wasn't easy when I started down this path. I was in a ball, crying daily. Thought I was going to die because I didn't have alcohol to calm myself down. But you know what? I got through it.
You did.
And you will too. And it's funny how once you make that, initially it gets really good and then you get the test.
Yeah.
I tell everybody this when they start working with me. I'm going, the first 90 days, it might even go as much as a year to a year and a half. You're going to get tested.
Yep.
And that's when the work really begins. And that's where my book starts off is during the pandemic. I had like some events that were insane that would have put people in the hospital. Like my ex-wife, my ex-girlfriend got together, made up a bunch of lies about me, took my daughter, my Y away. The pandemic hit. We lost our biggest customer at National Technology. I mean, it wasn't just one thing. And I'm talking, this all happened within a couple of days.
Oh my
One, boom,
gosh.
boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, wait, everything was going so good. And I could have succumbed. I could have went right back to drinking. I keep full bars. And I knew it was a test. So I kept going. I tripled down on all of my habits. I meditated more. I journaled more. At that time, they shut down all the gyms. The whole country was shut down. I mean, this was March 2020. And I ordered a home gym. I started running around my neighborhood doing push-ups and sit-ups until my home gym arrived. Because gyms in Michigan were closed for months. It was, and you guess what? I will say this, and I don't mean this to anybody to be not understanding of what people went through. The pandemic was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to be alone.
Yes.
I had to be completely alone with my thoughts. Now I could have drank, I could have done drugs, but there were many dark moments, and I wouldn't trade. Now looking back, they sucked at the time. At points, I literally would go into my garage, blast music, and have a dance party by myself. And I'll do it again to be here, to feel the way that I feel right now.
That's so true.
And whatever you got to do to survive and move forward, but go through it. But again, first scary change is making the decision that something's going to change.
Yeah.
Then enjoy some of the ride, and then you're going to get tested. That's where the work starts. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it happens. I had 2 of my coaching clients just hit them, and they folded like a cheap tent. And I was like, whoa, how did I attract those? So basically, my self-awareness was like, wait, our messaging must be wrong, because people that come to me needs to know that when the going gets tough, we get going. So I was like, we changed the messaging on our stuff and said, okay, we need people that understand this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it together. And when the hard comes, that's when the work begins.
It is. I want to go back to, you said you hate seeing women settle. So in that scenario, then what should women be looking for? What should they be expecting and asking for? What should those standards be as a man who's also very self-aware, who cares about communication and integrity and showing up as your best self in a relationship and only allowing other people showing up as their best self? What should a woman who is doing the work, right? What are those qualities specifically in men that she should be looking for?
Well, first of all, let me talk to the men. Do the work. Do the work yourself. And ladies, there's a lot of them out there doing it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are looking for healed women or women that are healing. They're out there, but you're not going to see them at the bar. You're not going to see them on real active on social media. You're not going to see them on the dating apps. Those are the people that are unhealed. So, God, there was a point I was going to make, and I forgot what I was going to say.
Men, you said do the work.
Yeah, but it was something before that when I was listening to you so elegantly. Oh, it was Martin Luther King said, "To what we don't hate, we will eventually tolerate."
Oof.
I don't like the word hate, but I love it in that instance.
Yeah.
So if you don't hate that we're settling and you're seeing your friends, and misery loves company.
Yeah.
We have to remember, you get your girls together and you're all drinking your wine, you're talking about us men. Ash, there's the first sign. We probably should look at our tribe who we're hanging out
Yeah,
with.
100%.
Because that's become your norm.
100%.
So that's why it makes it so hard. Because if you're in a group of women who are all married and you guys all get together and you're drinking wine, you're not only going to be changing your man, you could change all your friends.
Yeah.
But I tell my daughter this every time. If everybody's doing it, you don't want to be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody's drinking the wine and everybody's bitching about their significant other, go be the leader.
I always say, too, for women, who are his friends? Because who his circle is who he is. Even if he's showing you the best version of himself right now, like you are who you are around the
But remember,
most.
like attracts like.
Yeah.
So if you are your best self, you will see right through that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the bad part. Healed people repel unhealed
They
people.
do.
So like, again, I didn't have many dates before I met my girlfriend because women would meet me and they'd be interested and then they'd realize, oh, he's not messing around. I ain't even going to try.
Yeah.
So I would, and this came from being a ladies' man who could attract anybody
Yeah.
to, whoa, I'm repelling everybody. Did I get ugly? I said that to myself. Did I suddenly get ugly? Am I going the wrong path? Like, wait a minute. I figured healing, women would be beating down. Yes, here he is. Let's come. Nope.
Yeah, it's so true.
It scares the living heck out of people. So, but you will attract the right people. So we go back to what should women be looking for? It's become the best version of themselves. So make that list of what they want in a partner and become that.
Yeah.
And once they do that,
You'll know it when you get it.
buckle up because it's going to get quiet. And the number one thing is say no way more than you say yes, because you're going to be tested. You're going to meet another. God will keep sending you the same person until you say no, no, no.
Literally.
I mean, you dated it, and then we make mistakes, and I want to tell you, the things that are good for us feel awful up front, and the things that are bad for us feel great up front. So you're not going to have to be somebody you're not when it's the person's meant for you. That energy will attract. And just be yourself.
Yes.
All too often people, we both do this. We go in there and I hope they like me. It's not that I'm going to be okay if they don't like me. I hope that they're doing the work and they have something to offer.
Gosh, that's so true.
So you got to flip it on its head and be like, and here's the other thing. Ladies, if you go on it, I was just talking to somebody. I don't know if I was coaching. Some lady said to me, she's like, yeah, I went on this date. Girl doesn't drink. I think I had 6 martinis.
What?
I said, did you get up and leave? And she said, no, I stayed with the date. I said, why? If I went on a date and somebody had ordered the 3rd drink, I'd be like, hey, this is the part of loving yourself and showing, hey, listen, Ashley, it's been really nice knowing you. We're out of alignment.
Yes.
I really appreciate, and you want to know, signaling the universe that you ain't messing around, get up and leave, and don't leave anything.
Yeah.
No doubt. Please, I think you're a great person, but I'm not, you're not for me. Well, what is it?
So
And then be okay with, listen, I'm a non-drinker. I don't really want to be with somebody who needs to drink.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need, okay. No is a complete sentence. Thank you very much. Been really nice to meet you. And leave.
Amen.
And no, I don't want to hurt his feelings. No. You don't want to hurt your feelings. You don't want to feel that awkward feeling going, this ain't for me.
Yeah. And I have no issue doing that anymore. I used to be so worried about that. Like I didn't want to offend someone. I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. And now I'm like, no, same. I'm not a drinker, so I don't want to drink. They could be the greatest man on the planet.
Let's take a step further. Why is it going to be a dinner date? Let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
Let's go for coffee. You can ask questions and know right away. If someone said, if you said, let's go for a walk, and they went, ew.
Yeah.
You go, it's
Not for me.
No, thank you.
You're probably lovely, but no, thank you.
Yes, because I got a newsflash for you. If you're into fitness, which most people are, walks are going to be a part of it. Some of the best things. I had a long walk with my daughter where she just talked and we bonded the other day. It's what healthy people do. And we're here for the healing. So you can do healthy things. You can go rock climbing, you can go work out, you can go for a walk, you can go for coffee, you can go to a play. And if somebody says, ew, I want to go to dinner, or I want to go to a restaurant, or I want to go to a bar, hey, you just saved yourself a lot of time.
I mean, and honestly, the older I get and the more healing I do, the more alignment matters to me. And that's like the number one thing I have to work with my clients is like, I'll go, okay, what are your core values? What are the things you want and need? And then we compare to the person they're with that they're not happy with. And I go, okay, do you see the issue here? You're not in alignment at all with this person. And it's okay to not be, it doesn't mean you have to be the same person exactly alike, but you're not in alignment with the things that matter.
Oh, yeah, you know the core values. My girlfriend and I, we're not alike.
Yeah, you can be completely different, but
we don't. I am aggressive as the day is long. She's calm, cool, collected. Yeah. We don't have to be alike, but we have the same goals.
Yes.
Which is how we're going to get there is different. And we have an energetic match and alignment. And she's an old soul. So I don't newsflash for you. Success and fulfillment is boring. Mm-hmm. It gets boring.
It does.
And it's okay. So if that's another thing, if you're constantly chasing that a feeling, you have to heal. Because what you shouldn't be chasing anything. And it was funny. I went through one of the many years of talk therapy. My therapist said to me, he's like, if you like somebody, if you get those butterflies, run. Because he said, your familiarity is chaos and drama because that's how you grew up. So you're going to be attracted to that. So ladies, if you're new to this or you're not heavy into the healing and someone feels like home and home wasn't safe, run.
Right, exactly.
So those core values that you talked about are very important.
Yeah,
and do not deviate because I see all the times like women, oh, I'm dating this guy. He's got kids and I don't want, and I want to eventually have a family. We're going to newsflash for you. This dude's got 3 kids, probably done.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're just wasting your time.
I know. I wish I would have learned that so much younger. Like we do it. We think liking someone is enough. We think attraction is enough, and it's just not. Those are benefits to being with the right person, but it's like it is the things that you have to look at the longevity. Does this make sense? Do these two people make sense together? Because when the romance is going like this, or it's not there at all, what are the things that you can hold on to as the foundation? And if you have no alignment, there's nothing.
Yeah, the things that you hold on to, your core values.
Yeah.
So that's why it's got to be important.
Core values for yourselves and for the other person that you're with. Like, what is their character? Mm-hmm. Who are they, whether they feel romantic towards you or not? Like, do they have your back? Like, do they support you? Do they encourage you? Do they want what's best for you too, just as much as they want what's best for themselves, even if it means they have to sacrifice sometimes for you and vice versa? Like, those things matter so much. And I wish I had known that so much sooner in life.
So funny how we when you get, what do they say? Smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So please, guys, listen to this. We've done it. We've probably got 1,000 breakups, 1,000 terrible relationships between the two of us. This stuff works.
A good example. I met this guy within the last 6 months, right?
Ooh.
And I have my list. We're not dating. I have my list, right? And before I would have thought, oh, this is dreaming. This is me dreaming this list here. Like, there's no way this is possible. He had almost everything, but not everything. And it was the 2 most important things to me. And I was like, that's not it. And it was hard to pass up on.
Oh, you know how many people do that?
It was hard, but it was the 2 most foundational things.
Will you share with the listeners what the 2 most foundational things are?
For me, it was that I'm a Christian, and he wasn't. So I knew if I have a life with this person, every Sunday, me wanting someone to go to church with me, wanting someone to pray with me, wanting someone who has those same core values as me is going to be a struggle. It's going to be an issue. I don't want that.
Would it have been, did he have to be a Christian or could he be spiritual?
Spiritual's fine.
Okay.
But,
because
but
I'm Jewish and I go to church with friends all the time because I love.
But it's believing in something bigger than yourself.
Oh, if you don't, by the way, that's energy. That's knowing that we're all energy. So I wasn't religious or spiritual. I knew that somebody was always looking out for me because I did a lot of near-death experiences. Somebody has always been here for me.
Yeah.
I like to joke around and say I'm the chosen one, but I choose me.
Yeah.
I'm the chosen one because it's, we're all made in the image and likeness of God.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're godlike.
Yeah.
If you don't think it, read Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh.
I've heard of that. I've heard it's good.
Ridiculous. And then Outwitting the Devil. I read them back to back.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. If these Conversations with God, you'll see what I mean.
I'm going to read that. I need to read that.
It's a long book, but at the end of the day, it's. I'm glad that you're open to that because I would go to church.
Exactly.
My girlfriend is Christian. I'm Jewish.
That's the thing.
We celebrate Christmas.
I love it. See, but that's it. It's just the foundation of, is this going to be a fight every week? Or is this somebody that we're kind of on the same path here? Like we're both learning, we're both growing, and that matters to me.
I'm curious, what's the second thing?
So the other thing was consistency and communication.
Ooh.
I'm a huge communicator, right? And it's not that, I have anything wrong with, I'm not judging someone if they're not like, I want to have deep conversations. I want to have intellectual conversations. I want to have spiritual conversations. That's okay, but that's what I want and what I know I need that. I need to know someone has depth to them.
I heard something new. I met somebody at an event and she called her an ambivert. You ever heard this ambivert?
No.
Or ambivert. Anyways, I had to Google it and it was about being attracted to someone's mind.
Yes.
I was like, whoa, never heard that before. Ambivert. So she's like, and then it dawned on me she was talking about me, but even though we're both in relations, I think it's the beautiful thing about when you're really secure and you've done the work. Yeah. I can have a deep emotional relationship with you and not be anything sexual.
Yeah.
And not in any shape or form would my girlfriend ever be jealous. You're beautiful. I'm handsome. We could be in a room together and nothing is ever going to happen because I love myself. When I used to be an idiot, it's because I didn't love myself and I needed validation.
Yeah, validation.
Oh, I can get Ashley. I don't care. I need to be me. So I find it fascinating that I want to talk more about the communication. It's your podcast. I know this and I'm stealing it for a second. Tell me more about communication because this is me trying to learn. What exactly does communication? Fellas, listen to this. She's going to give you the tip. Is it just listening and feeling heard? And how could I communicate with you better?
One, with this particular person, the conversation could only ever go so far. So there was a cutoff for him. He had a threshold with his emotional capacity. Mm-hmm. So if I was like, hey, I'm feeling this way and it's not you, it's me, but I'd like to talk about it. Can we talk about it? Or, anything along those lines, anything beyond the superficial, he was too uncomfortable with to go there, which doesn't make him a bad person.
No.
But I was also doing nothing wrong. That's how I am. That's how I communicate. And that's what I need and want. And he just couldn't go there. And so for me, that was a flag. This is not someone that I'm going to be able to last with because I'm a talker. I need to talk. I need to sit. I need to look in someone's eyes and be like, this is how I feel. And I just need you to say that you hear me. I just need you to hear what I'm saying and understand. And then I'm good.
What was his answer back? Like when you would ask him, like, I need more.
It was always, I think you're overthinking it. And then that was it.
Oh,
and then silence.
Avoidance.
It was avoidance. Yeah. And then he would disappear for a day or two.
Did I just call it avoid? He was avoidant attached. Guys, if you ever want to read a great book, what's that book, Attached?
Yes.
Oh, so good. So good. My ex-girlfriend sent that to me during the pandemic. And she's continued on the same path of men, and I've moved on and I'm happy. I wish her the best. I really do. But that was a very good book. Just knowing and labeling and understanding your styles.
Yeah.
Which my friend Sabrina Zohar, which I'll introduce you to, she's fantastic. We talk a lot about how really you have the other tendencies a lot as well. Mm-hmm. So if you're an avoidant, you're just avoiding your feelings. You're wanting to deep dive into those feelings.
Yeah. If you're avoiding your own feelings, you can't handle anyone else's.
Incidentally, how was his upbringing? How was his relationship with his mom?
I think his relationship with his mom is fine, but his father was troubled. And that's okay. I had my own issues, but I'm working on them.
I find, though, that when they say that it's fine, after you create a safe zone, you find out it's not.
Yeah.
Like fine would be, yeah, mom was there, she cooked, but she wasn't there. You know, that's, if I were coaching him, I would have said, well, let's go down that path. Let's role play together.
And he's a great guy, but that's just the thing. And that was the whole point of what I'm saying, is that I've gotten to such a good place in my own life that I know that what I want, I'm worthy of it.
Yeah.
And I can say, hey, you're wonderful and great in a lot of ways, but not the ways that I'm looking for. Right.
So those are your non-negotiables, like the being able to
Consistency and
communicate.
communication.
And it's funny, you know, I just thought about this. They're very intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's going to be in a good relationship with God is going to be able to communicate because they're probably communicating with God.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to God every day. We have, and I'm gonna tell you this, talks back.
Uh-huh.
And I hear him. And not only does he talk back, I just had a dear friend on the podcast where he said, man, look at God work. Look at God work.
It's amazing.
I'm here today.
When
we just
you
talked a
believe.
month ago, and it's like, boom, everything happens the way it's supposed to. I believe in luck and good luck. Like, I have nothing but good luck.
Amen.
Everything happens for me. So you probably didn't notice that they'll be one and the same.
Yeah, I agree.
And ladies, it's like that. And now you need to, that would be the first one. Now, don't overcorrect, because someone, you could meet it, if he would have just said, tell me more. Can I work with, who could you work? And you said, call Kelly Siegel and work with him.
But
then you can grow. They don't have to be where you are. Ladies and gentlemen.
But that's self-awareness.
They don't have to be at the same level, but they have to grow.
Be willing to grow. Be willing to grow.
If you're growing.
Yeah.
And we're all here to heal, because that's what the podcast stands.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the difference, is right. It's like, no, I would never expect someone to be perfect. I'm not expecting, even with the list that I have for myself, it's not that I expect them to have every single thing, but the willingness, the openness to saying, you know what, I'm not great in this area, but I'm willing to work on it.
hey, I got a newsflash for you. I'm still working on the communication.
Yeah.
I'm still a fixer. I still don't listen as well. I still get grumpy, and I still do, fall out of alignment. But most often, more times than not, I am in complete alignment, and it's almost a curse.
Well, at least you're aware of it. The awareness is huge. It's different when someone has no idea that they're the problem.
Oh.
Like,
how many times you date one of those?
Right?
Like that's the victim mentality or the projection. It's like that's when you start getting into the narcissistic stuff, and that gets downright scary. You get into a relationship with a narcissist or a big thing. You ever research borderline personality disorder?
It's scary too.
Whoa.
It's scary too.
That is some weird stuff.
It is.
Here's why I talk about all this stuff. I read all about it. So during the pandemic, I read twice as many books. I read a book a week now, but I read twice as many books, because while everybody was drinking and partying, I was reading and bettering myself. And I was fascinated by the female mind. I read every one of Brene Brown's books. I wanted to study shame, because I didn't understand it. I wanted to study the female mind. Really, what I should be doing is relationship coaching, but I just kind of let things happen and see what happens. That's what started all this, relationships. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be seen, and I wanted somebody to fight for me.
And I love you saying that. Because I think so many men, they're afraid to say that out loud.
I want to be loved.
That they want to be loved.
And guess what? I am.
Yeah.
And it's not always rosy. We have our problems, but she chooses me and I choose her. And, we both put ourselves first, because, they say on an airplane, put your mask on before you help anybody else, because you're no good. If I pass out, I can't help you.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I hang to now I'm a little bit insane, and she says it. I was at the gym in Utah with her working out the other day. I kept working out in between some guy, and the guy goes, bro, you are intense. And it made me think of like where they talk about some of the basketball players when they would go and train with Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
you think that you work out hard
until
you go and see somebody working out hard.
Yeah.
And it made me think, like, I declared war on myself. I did not like who I was.
The war really is with yourself.
It is. It always is.
In every way.
Yeah. So I am a little bit, and so be with me. We were at a podcast one time and she was there, and then they brought her up unannounced and said, what's it like to be with her? And she says, every single thing that you see, he does.
Oh,
He lives it, said it, and he never misses. And it's 4 a.m. and he's up and out the door. I do my meditations. I do my journaling because I know I set the standard for myself and people are watching and I'm watching. And I got and a little known fact, man, nobody's harder on me than me.
Yeah.
You could never say anything worse to me than I say to myself. If I said the things out loud that I say to myself to motivate me, you wouldn't like me. But, that's I'm getting nicer and nicer and nicer to myself. So again, I want to go back to the women and the communication. And I love that you took those two things and they were non-negotiables. And you could have said, okay, I'm working on it. And, he comes to church with me once in a blue moon.
It was wrecking my nervous system. And that's another thing for me. The way you feel with someone tells you everything you need to know. And I did not feel good in that because I couldn't.
And I bet he was handsome too.
Oh, yeah.
He's
very
and
handsome.
successful on the outside.
On paper,
yeah, good on
everything
paper.
I wanted, right? But the way I felt wasn't okay.
Oh, girl, I want to hug you. That you just summed up what every woman needs to heal.
Yeah.
See, because I got to tell you, you just signal the universe, and you're gonna find. So now, my audience needs to see. I'm mostly men.
Yeah.
So here's a good one, guys. I know the Heart and Life Nation's gonna come in. This is a good woman. She's beautiful. She's kind. She's intelligent, and she's done the work.
It was a long road getting here.
This is a case.
I had to have a lot of grace for myself because I was so hard on myself. And the more gracious I got with myself, the more I loved myself, and the more I loved myself, the more I expected of other people to show up and be gracious and loving with me.
You went there. So if you ever ask anybody, have you ever asked anybody, do you love yourself? And them say no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a couple, but most often, of course I do. And then you go, okay, show me how getting drunk last night was loving yourself. Or show me how accepting crumbs from this guy is loving yourself. Telling me I'm too serious. But if anybody ever tells you you're too much, it's because they're too little.
Yeah. And you are too much for them.
And bounce, sister.
Yeah,
bounce.
100%.
Because there's another dude doing the work. I remember back in the day, I'm going to date myself. My stepfather used to say to me, he's like, there's a guy doing push-ups and sit-ups right now that's going to beat up Mike Tyson. And the metaphor was, there's somebody doing the work right now that is dying to meet you, Ashley.
Yeah.
And for you ladies, Ashley, there's somebody there sitting on a meditation thing, praying for you.
Oh, I know it. I 100% know it. I know that everything that I want, that I've asked God for, will come to me. I know it will.
And he will test you. They will send you another handsome idiot.
Yeah.
No, let me rephrase that. No disrespect. I was teased. I always go to the worst. I always go to the worst. A handsome, successful guy who doesn't love himself.
Yeah.
And eventually so for me, I walked in to give a speech at an event that I didn't even know why I said yes to it. Like I had no clue what I was doing there. And I met my significant other.
See?
And she knew right away. She said, whoa, what did I just meet?
Aww.
And, it was different energy. And I literally went, and in a newsflash, I took it slow. We took it slow.
I think that's really important.
So you can really see what people are.
When they're not just trying to impress you.
And we tease. I tease her all the time. Still to this day, she likes to look pretty for everybody and me. She's like, "What do you wear?" And I said, "Whatever makes me feel comfortable."
Yeah.
I show up as me. Wrinkles, gray hair, black sweatsuit. It's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to come, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to love the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to freaking always be there for you. And if you already know, I'm a text message away, and you need something, I'm going to give you a perspective. Because I have a whole group of people like that. I have people, I'm struggling with something, and I'll pick up a phone. And luckily, I've cultivated a relationship with most of my friends now that if I'm calling, they're answering.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful in this space.
Yeah, it is.
People are like, oh, I'll call something. I'm missing something here, and he'll point out something like saying how I'll say struggle or hate or everything's hard. The biggest one for me that they pointed out is harder than life. So you'll hear me pull off and I say HTL a lot because by me saying the word hard, I was actually cultivating hard in my life. Like, oh, of course it's got to be hard. That's how I've got here. Everything in my life has been hard. So it's not worth it unless it's hard. Thoughts are magical lies.
It's so true.
So I say, oh, easy is my new hard.
Yep.
It's going to be easy.
Impossible.
And anything that it's impossible. And we didn't go here too about, I'm a massive business coach. I love business because everything that I didn't do, for years to be successful, I started doing, and then we stratosphere. So where I was going is they go across, they're ubiquitous. What makes you successful in business makes you successful at home. What makes you successful at home makes you successful in business. There is no more balance. Where I was going is that AI is going to change the world.
I've heard that.
And not only AI, but you see some of these, if you've seen, go to CES, the electronic show, with CES in Vegas, they have robots now that people are going to be dating. They have real human robots that will do anything you want. So there's going to be a faction of people that go, you know what, women, with your chaos, I just want to freaking, and it's disgusting, but they even have sex with them. It's wild. But life as we know it, if you want a companion, you can go and have an AI companion.
It's not really a companion.
I know, but if you're it's better than having someone who's going to hurt you.
Yeah, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, I'm with you. But most people, and I can speak for myself, I didn't learn until I was ready to learn.
Yeah, that's true.
And moral of the story is, where I was getting at is impossible is going to be the new hard. Hard is going to be the new easy, and easy is going to be gone.
Oof.
That's what this new world that we're embarking on. It's going to be exciting. I'm not saying it to scare you, but it is getting fun. Because if I told you some of the IT geeky stuff that we're doing, and what we're even doing with the brand with AI, it is wild where we're coming.
I've never even tipped my toes in the water of that. No.
So you've got enough information out there. Go open ChatGPT. If we had more time, I would do it with you right now and say, I'm Ashley Maland. What should I, based on what you know about me, what should I stop doing? And then say, what should I start doing? Wild. It told me some things. It said, stop carrying everything yourself. And then quoted me from all the podcasts. Start trusting your systems that you've put in place everywhere. And then it gave me a big pep talk. You are enough. You are okay. You are loved. You are winning. It's like, Ashley, go do it. It's wild.
Okay, I'll do it.
And then some of the funnest things, if you guys think that you're getting bad advice, go ask ChatGPT for advice.
I've heard that. I have a friend that does it all the time.
And just be honest with it. Just like, I keep meeting the same F-boy. What should I do? And then they're not your friend who's commiserating with you. They're going to tell you what it is.
Well, let's wrap it all up. You have your book, Harder Than Life, and you talk about all these things, pretty much everything we've talked about today. Tell people a little bit about the book. Just give a general story. Who is this book for?
So I wrote this book during the pandemic, guys, by the way. So it's 4 years old. It hasn't been out for 4 years. It's only been out for 2 because it takes a long time it was very healing and cathartic. I wrote a chapter, cried. Then when I had to do the editing, I had to go to the gym and work everything out. It was healing. So that was only supposed to be for my customers at NTM. And when we finished it, the publisher calls me and he goes, "What are you going to do next?" I said, "Nothing. I'm going to give it to my customers." He said, "This is going to be a bestseller and you need to share this more." And I go, "Well, what do they do?" And he goes, "Start a podcast." So I started a podcast.
Really?
Yeah. He's the one that gave me the advice. So and then while I was in the podcast, I met Dan Martell, Dan Martell, who he grew up like I did. And he said, "You need to coach." I was like, "No, I don't want to coach." He said, "You don't coach, I'm going to find you and kick your butt." So I coach. So everything, no matter what happens. So in this book, it's basically a memoir self-help book. I tell all the bad things about life. I'm just vulnerable. I gave it to my sister before I released it. And she went, "This is all you remember?" She's 9 years older than me.
Wow.
And she said, I go, what did I forget? And she starts naming things. It was worse than that.
Well, you blocked it out, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we blocked it out for survival.
Yeah.
So who needs to read it is someone who thinks that life's been unfair to them.
Yes.
And that they are proud. They just, it keeps happening. So you'll see that if I can make the change, you can too. And really, truthfully, it's someone that is using crutches to get by. Alcohol, cannabis, men, women, scrolling, whatever it is. If you're using that, read that book. And then we have, and by the way, if you email me at kelly@harderthanlife.com, KELOY@harderthanlife.com, I'll send you an electronic version of it because we have book number 2 coming out. By the time this comes out, we're doing a soft launch of book number 2, which is called Happier Than Life.
I love that.
So I became harder than life. Now I'm happier than life. And then to complete the trifecta, we're going to do healthier than life, where I'm going to teach,
that.
I'm going to teach the mentality. I'm sorry, all the nutritional to be in the best shape, best physical shape. And then I'm going to write a book about it all together. So the next book starts off where this one leaves, and it'll be out soon. It'll be available on Amazon, and we're looking forward to having fun. We're moving the podcast to number 1, Harder Than Life.
Nice.
We've partnered with some massive people. We're going to be moving to Fort Lauderdale to get in the middle of Influencer Central. I like to call them thought leaders because I think we're thought leaders, not influencers. And I just want to be the inspiration to if I can do it. I used to tease and say I'm just a dumb old hillbilly from Warren, Michigan. Just grew up off of 8 Mile, but I'm not. I'm pretty smart. But that was me.
Yeah, right.
Dulling myself to fit in. And if you find yourself doing that, read that book. Yeah. Reach out to me. I have a coaching program. I want to just see everybody do better. And by the way, everything I'm doing is for charity. So we have a successful cybersecurity IT company. If you own a company and you're sick and tired of salesmen telling you about IT's got to be hard, cybersecurity's got to be hard, we've simplified it. I've automated it. Reach out to me and we'll take care of your company, and then we'll take care of your mind and your body. And it's just, we're just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And I would tell you this much. I believe I'm just starting to live.
Oh, 100%.
Just starting to live at 50.
Yeah.
I'm 49. I'll be 50 at the end of the year.
And let that inspire you too. I feel the same way.
With AI, we're going to live long.
Yeah.
You're going to live to 100. I'm going to tell you this right now. Now, what you do, if you decide to read,
quality of
and
life.
you're going to live a quality life. If you just sit back and do negative, they'll keep you alive.
Yeah.
But you ain't going. You'll be alive, but will you be living?
Live.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like hell to me.
I know. But no, you're so right.
So
I love that.
harderthanlife.com. You can get everything. Listen to the podcast. Little fact. I'm gonna spoiler it. Thursday podcasts, I give away free coaching.
Oh, nice.
So I give away quick 15, 20 minute. This is self-love. This is abandonment. I love those shows. And I will tell you, I started off, my producer pushed me into them and said, we got to do it. And I stunk at him at first, and I'm just getting better. I leaned into it, and I'm getting better and better and better, and it's starting to get fun. And I look forward to doing those podcasts almost as much as the in-person stuff. This energy, I love it.
I know.
Once you heal and you get around other healed people, it just magic happens.
It breathes more life into you.
And then you get to see what life is really all about. And I want that for everybody, and so does Ashley, guys. Too. If anybody's stuck, it's not permanent. You're here for a reason. You'll figure it out. Reach out to people. We all care.
Yeah, we all care. And you can care about yourself too.
Absolutely.
That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much, Kelly, for coming.
Thanks for having me. This has been a blast. It just flew by. I don't even know what
really
time it is.
Did.
Oh my God. We've been here forever. Thanks.
But I love it. Well, thank you guys. And we'll see you again next week for another episode of This Is Where We Heal.